I spoke with Her Excellency, the Treasury Minister. We can see the platinum, gold, and silver and the quote unquote oil prices are all moderating. We said they would. We said why they would. Uh, Natural gas is the only one that's not moderating. That's because the demand for it is remaining high, uh, and the supply of it. It's not that there's lack of supply. It's just that access to supply is a bit of an issue in certain areas, and that's not our concern. Not in the short or medium range scenarios. Perhaps in the long range scenarios, but it all depends on how parties engage in their economic planning. I'll say it that way. Well, look at it like this. Um, as a result of various things that we did say would come to pass with their conflict between Russia and Ukraine, it's exactly what I said would be. They'd be forced to negotiate, which is what they're doing now. Bad faith negotiation, good faith negotiation is not the point. It's not really something I'm concerned about. I just know that we knew it would come to that there would be negotiating. And parties have weakened themselves by being said to be accused of war crimes. It does not help their particular negotiating position. And given the fact that they're also losing on the battlefield badly, um, the real push, the real fight will be in the East. And I'm not quite sure how much of a fight that's going to be, primarily because the Russians don't have a large enough military to do particular things. They're in a no-win situation here. Uh, Even if they think they actually win, they still lose because they don't have enough forces to occupy particular areas, let alone all of so-called Ukraine. And they're dug in well in particular positions in the east. That's true, and somewhat in the south. The crux of the matter is they're under heavy attack and counterattack. Now they're well dug in the east. However, they're on borrowed time. Um, they're in a situation where this thing is going to drag on for months. It's going to impact the oil price and the uh, natural gas price over time. The oil price, though, not so much as the nat gas price. That's because so-called Europe requires a lot of natural gas, and they get almost all of it from the Russians. Until recently, they just made a deal, a very large deal that we spoke about, to get a lot of nat gas from the North Amexem side. Consequently, it's a different type of nat gas because it has to be liquefied and transported in a particular manner. It's more expensive. Still, the way I see it, the silver price, which is what we really and truly care about, is doing as I said it would. It's moderating. Now, the only threat to that is international issues of inflation in foreign jurisdictions. Not so much for us, but it does impact buying power depending on how certain things go. A recession is coming for some, probably less of a threat, as I talked about earlier today, um, with so-called Europe. More of a threat for the colonizing hostiles in North America. Um, but that too could be moderated to a degree depending on particular steps they may take. At the end of the day, the buying power of our silver shall remain pretty much in the constant range. And that means what we're looking to acquire for our fiscal budget law for the nationals empire wide, we should do pretty good in all those budget acquisitions. The real question now becomes um, how do we proceed with the next fiscal budget proposal, which I've already started working on? Because I am well aware that recessions could be short term, they could be long term, they will impact uh, inflation in one form or another. Um, they will impact lives in one form or another in terms of what the buying power of folks are. Uh, Given the fact that we are expanding our food growth operations, uh, given the fact that there are other things that we want to get into besides uh, expansion of our electrical power generation, but also expansion of our healthcare operations. We have to monitor closely supply chains, monitor closely recessions, rather closely lockdowns in different places that could impact various supply chains across the planet, which could in fact impact the buying power of our silver.